So they get to... So you at this point, you're like, all right, final boss. We beat the game. Good going. Good job, team. And it's like getting to the point where it's just like, all right, here's the deadline. The deadline's coming up. Things are getting a little hectic. They show the cutscene where Shido wakes up and he's like, oh no, what have I done? And all the other all of his other team members are just like, okay, like he was our mouthpiece, but like we were riding his coattails. What the hell are we gonna do?
Like,
so
do we kill him or what? What's the protocol? You're like, let's not go straight to murder.
Yeah. So there's a couple cutscenes where they're making plans, and then once it gets to the scene where Shido spills the beans on television, they're like, oh yeah, we did it. But then the next day, everyone's like, eh. And they're like, well, hold on. Something's wrong here. Nothing's changing. Things are getting worse. And then you go to the Velvet Room and Igor's just like, yeah, you failed. It seems I was mistaken. There's no hope for humanity. And even the twins are like, isn't
this a little harsh? This isn't... And they're just like, well, you are sentenced to execution.
Yep.
Get them, twins. And this is another just small little moment where Justine is just like, all right, this is just what it gotta be. And Caroline's just like, well, maybe we gotta sit down and think about this. She's like, nope, orders are orders. Let's kill them. And that's just love that just little tiny things like that where it's like they're not entirely in sync. And one more thing about the twins, one more tiny little thing. They never got like a proper goodbye. I would have liked for them, because in the game, in the Persona 4 Dancing in Starlight, they're shown to be able to just split and combine at will. And I'm like, I would have just liked for them to just split and be like, good job, inmate. Or something. Just one more. But you know, can't have everything.
And I love how, so like, one of the things you could do in this game in order to increase your compendium of personas is there was the fusion, where you executed 2 of your personas to fuse into a new one. And it's just like, oh, this is a mechanic in the game, what have you, whatever, it's cool, like, make stronger personas. But then when the twins realize, oh, your left eye and my right eye, you need to execute us. We need to fuse. I'm like, ooh, okay. I like this. I like how this, like, not mundane game mechanic, but just this game mechanic actually becomes a story mechanic. And then they fuse into Lavenza. And, or wait, is this before or after you go into Mementos? I think this is...
No, you go into Mementos to chase after, Igor.
I feel like there's something else, though, because... No, because you go... There's, like, basically they're trying to figure things out, and then you go into Mementos, and then you go into the depths of Mementos, and you fight the, Holy Grail once. And then after that is when it's revealed that Igor, the current Igor, is the Grail.
Yep.
It's after. So, yeah. Basically, you find out that just like everybody is becoming slowly imprisoned in the mindset of Mementos, where it's just like, everything's fine. Why struggle? It's it's like Blake as she's about to get killed by the apathy in volume 5 or volume 6. This is fine. You actually see like a bunch of the other people that you had seemingly saved their shadows, and it's just like, oh, they're trapped here now too. Kamoshida, Kaneshiro, Madarame,
Shishida.
no Okumura, because he dead.
It's like, well, where's Akuma? It's like, you and then Haru's like, it's fine, I've been accepted it. I was like, you're a very strong young lady, Haru.
But yeah, once you fuse Lavenza, the fake Igor is just like, yo, I'm the Grail. And then there's actually another ultimatum where you can accept his offer and the game just ends. I don't remember what that cutscene is, but the game can just end there.
That cutscene is just like the Phantom Thieves are back into people's minds and they're on TV and they're stopping people, and it's basically the same thing where Joker just sort of smiles and gives a thumbs up to the camera and he jumps up and freeze frames. Only one of those things happen.
But yeah, you refuse his offer and just Igor just like, oh, folly of man, yada yada. So he goes away, and at that point, the real Igor shows up, as we had mentioned before, like 4 hours back at this point. And it's the original voice actor, and wish she got a little more with him.
Yeah. Like I explained, the limitations, they can only do so much with what they had in Japanese, and therefore they can only do so much with what they had in English. So.
Yeah, that's true. So you, at that point, are like, all right, Mementos is fusing with the real world. Nobody's noticing it. And it's showing that people are forgetting the Phantom Thieves. And since Mementos is a cognitive realm and the Phantom Thieves are not on the minds of people anymore, they're just disappearing from existence. And yeah, the scene of them fading away is not... It evokes a similar feeling of... I don't remember the name of the island, but when Kuma is one by one taking out the Straw Hats.
Shabaodi.
Shabaodi, yes. Where it's just like you see them all fading and all of them are just like, this can't be happening. Like, all that we did.
Sir. Only one person accepts it with quiet dignity. Closes her eyes and accepts her fate, and that's Haru Okumura. She's a lady till the end. Everybody else is panicking. She's just like, alright, it is what it is. And that's Haru.
Oh boy. And then Joker wakes up in the Velvet Room. His cell door broken. Actually, his cell door was already open. He broke it when he had to fight the twins beforehand. But then it's revealed, oh, there's a little bit more to this Velvet Room than you realize. There's more prison, and all your friends are here. You start talking to them. They you talk them down, just like, yo, like, get your shit together. It's basically what
all have. You got to talk to each and every one of them about their problems. Like, was it even really all worth it? Am I really doing anything good for the world? Why am I here? And they all get a nice little moment that you can talk to, and you can pump their spirits up.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that part.
Yeah, like with On, it's just like, you really gonna give up when you're been cheering Shiho on so hard, and just like, oh yeah, I'm a dumbass. Just rinse, repeat, just kind of going into why they all became Phantom Thieves in the first place, basically. And then, at this point, we even didn't really mention Morgana's memory loss. That's been a thing the whole game. Morgana forgetting their memory. And how he keeps having a dream of, like, waking up as a shadow, seemingly, in Mementos. But it turns out he is a servant of Lavenza, It was just like, yo, you need to go find the trickster and help him out. And you are not a human. You are a cat.
By the way, give up on that dream. Unless we were somehow transported to an alternate dimension. But that's not happening. Turns to camera.
Mariyuki's just like, hello.
Hey, I'm here. What was that about a human? No reason.
Write that down. So you get back to the real world. Just shit's messed up. People are starting to remember the Phantom Thieves, largely based on your confidants. Which I like how they kind of play a role.
That moment.
Yeah.
Love it. Them all just cheering them on and getting people to rally with them. It's just like, they helped me with this problem. I really, really like that moment. Because it's just like, well, it wasn't... Because in other games, it's just like, here are your confidants. You have fun with them. You play around with them. Some of them come into the story sometimes. Otherwise, it's just like, here they are over here. You get your nice little moment near the end. It's just like, hey, I'm leaving town, and you can just go up to them and just go, hey, I'm leaving town, and they talk about where they are and where they're going. But this one is just like, you've affected these people's lives, and now they're cheering for you and thus rallying other people. Really, really good stuff there.
And as you're going up to reface the Grail, people are starting to realize, oh shit, the world is fucked up right now. We just didn't notice, and then people are just disappearing.
Yeah.
Fading out of existence. It's just kind of like a mini boss rush of a bunch of angelic personas. And then you get to final boss, you fight the Grail, but then the Grail turns out to be a very small piece of a giant god whose name I do not remember. You galled the ball.
I don't either, but I love this song.
Yeah, you galled the ball or something. And his boss fight is super tricky. As you keep fighting him, he keeps pulling out more arms that inflict just stupid statuses on you.
And then it's just like, this arm is resistant to fire and it'll reflect it back on you. So you can't use fire, just an overwhelming fire on everybody. This arm reflects physical attacks, so you can't just physical everybody, otherwise it'll get bounced back. Just boom, 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 constantly. Very tricky, but it's not like a, man, this is so tricky that I hate it. It's just like, you gotta sit down and think and just like buff and debuff. And
I'm gonna tell you what I
like
did.
This fight.
Myriad of Truths.
Of course you did.
That takes care of everything. Yeah, you get to, and then once you get to the end of the boss fight, Joker unleashes his evolved persona, which is basically the devil incarnate.
Yeah, Arcea comes back and he just sort of breaks the chain, and it's just gross and huge.
Sataniel.
I've always just like, because all the Persona games do this, where it's just like, here comes the main dude with his big old fantastic persona, he's gonna save the day. I'm like, everybody should just have a little moment with it. Just like, hey, here's my persona, and it's gonna throw you up, and here's my persona, it's just gonna do a gust of wind to put you even higher, and they're just like all trying to get them up to the persona to shoot it in the face or something. I'm like, because they're all just standing around like, oh, Joker. I like how they did it with the Maruki fight, where they all had, they were blocking the beam,
fist,
and
yeah.
like, go Joker, do it. But yeah, something like that would have been better here, as opposed to them just all just standing around.
So you get to, you beat the boss, things, and this is Christmas Eve. And basically by beating this boss, you realize, the reason that they go to the mementos in the beginning is they figured out that because the collective consciousness seems to just not give a fuck, that they need to destroy mementos in order to fix the collective conscious of the people. That's why they went before they figured things out.
Thus no longer being a Phantom Thief as well.
Yes. Removing mementos removes the metaverse, which means they can't be Phantom Thieves. So they do that. Everything seems honky-dory. Christmas Eve. You meet up with Saionijima, and she exclaims that, okay, in order to prosecute Shido, Joker, you're going to have to turn yourself in order to testify against Shido so we can pin a bunch of this crap on him. And this is where the big split happens in this versus Royal. In the original game, you did that. you turn yourself in.
Go straight to February.
Yeah. But in this, as you're having this discussion with Saionijima, Akechi arrives, and he's alive. Just like, oh, that's different.
Pissed me off.
He's like, you know what? I'll turn myself in. I have more direct correlation to Shido. We'll pin it on him. Yada, yada. And they're like, okay, everything seems good. So, and at this point...
That part pissed me off because I'm like, that was one of my favorite moments in Persona 5 where it's just like, yeah, I'll go back to jail just to prosecute them and do that. It's like a self-sacrifice thing. And that was one of my favorite moments. And I was waiting for that, like, here it comes. And then here he comes strolling up like, I'll take that burden. And I'm like, why are you alive, first off? And of course you will. So that pissed me off. But then it immediately just went, okay, I could just have a nice Christmas date with somebody. Who am I going to pick? Scroll through my phone of just everyone. And of course, just magnetize to Haru at all points whenever there's an option like that. And this part, have you seen the Christmas dates?
I've seen some of them, yeah.
They're just like, hey, because they all follow the same track of they meet up, and then it's just like, okay, let's go get something to eat, and then it's just like Haru just turns like, hey, what's wrong? And there's an option. It's just like, let's hold hands, or why don't we do something romantic? And boy, that controller would just it is concave with how hard I press X on that whole hand. Just bam, get right in there. Oh my god, it's so good! That's all I ever wanted!
Because I went the completely neutral route, I didn't actually have an option for a Christmas date.
But yeah, they all follow the same track of, hey, thanks for meeting us, hold hands. The restaurant was packed. Let's just get a cake. Hey, is there any cakes available? Yeah, we have one cake available. They go back to the attic. Hey, thanks for doing everything for me. You got a little bit of cake on your cheek. Hey, how about I stay here tonight? Hey, it's snowing. Awesome. And then I'm guessing just very rough sex with everyone except for Haru.
Turns out she's just...
She's a lady. She does not engage in those sorts of things premarital, Michael. And I'll not hear a word otherwise.
Oh, boy. They are teenagers. I will stop there. So you have your little Christmas thing. And I think this is the start of, like, where you should notice things are going weird, is at least in where it's like you don't have any plans, you're hanging out with Futaba and Sojiro, and Futaba's just like, I want turkey! And Sojiro's just like, it's like, here's some money, go grab some snacks and some other things. They're not going to have turkey. She comes back and she's just like, hey, I got turkey and snacks. They were having a sale. It's like, oh, that's convenient. You got what you wanted, and you're happy. Should have seen some hints there. So you kind of go through that. You have a Christmas party. Oh, also, once you destroyed Mementos, Morgana seemingly disappears. Because Morgana was a being made of cognition. So... he seems to fade away, and then as you meet up afterwards, Morgana comes back, and every time you've seen Morgana's silhouette, it's always been what he looks like when you're in the metaverse. But after this, he is purely his cat is his cut-in. So he is now straight up a cat. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Everybody's sad and then happy that he comes back. Then you go through a few days. You have a conversation with Yoshizawa. It's like, hey, you want to meet up for New Year's? Yeah, sure. And then New Year's Day, you walk downstairs as you're about to go meet up with Yoshizawa, and Futaba comes in a kimono looking fucking awesome and adorable.
They all do. I love all of their kimonos, and I love all of their third semester uniforms. Especially, shut up, I know I'm talking about her a lot, but Haru's little hat, her little bonnet, what's that thing called? The little French hat thing that she just sort of cocked to the side. Love it. And she's got a big old scarf. I know, Mike. I know. Shut up about Haru. I know. But my goodness. Her and that big old coat that Futaba was wearing with the headphones. I'm like, why can't we have this in the metaverse? Give me that outfit, please. They're all awesome.
Futaba with coat, better than Futaba without coat.
She looked awesome.
So actually, when she's in the metaverse, there is one of her outfits is her Dancing in Starlight outfit, which is that outfit with her with the coat on. And that is what she wore for my entire game playthrough. So you go to the shrine, meet up with everybody. And also, when you meet up with Futaba, she says, like, someone compliments her in kimono. She's like, thanks, my mom picked it out. And you're like, huh, that's weird.
That was not, that's weird. I just went, no. I instantly just went, no. Because at that point, you go downstairs and Morgana's there in his human form. You go, who are you? I'm like, that's Morgana. And instantly, because we didn't talk about this, but the night before when they were watching Masayo Shishida's like announcement and hey, he's going to jail sort of thing, they turn the channel and it's a I think it's a commercial for a soap opera or something like that, and there's a handsome dude on there, and An's just like, oh yeah, I like that dude, and Morgana just goes, oh, so she likes that kind of guy, huh? And then he wakes up and he's sort of that kind of guy, and I'm like, that's more, and I instantly just went alternate universe. Instantly just went, and I went, this is exactly what I want.
So you get to the shrine, and then everybody's talking, and then Haru says, oh, I'm going to be going to meet up with my father to scout out a new location, and Joker like immediately was like, wait, what? And then Futaba's like, yep, gonna go with my mom and Sojiro somewhere. And Yusuke says something along the lines of he's going to be meeting up with his sensei. And you're just like, whoa, what is going on? An was like going to be meeting up with Shiho. And
the night right before that, you have like a weird dream where you're walking down the hall.
Oh, yeah,
You just hear a bunch of people like Ryuji just like, yeah, I wish I could help out my mom and get a scholarship for track. And just like, yeah, Shiho's not doing too well and all that. And you go, and you're just walking down the hall following the butterfly. And then you just open the door and then you wake up and then all that.
Well, there's a voice that they don't give a voice because that would give it away. Just saying, it's fine here at the school. Don't you want to stay? And you have two choices of no. And you're just like, he's like, okay, like we'll talk about this later. I mean, that was Maruyuki. Yeah, then you kind of like are seeing things and you're just like, okay, stuff is weird. I think it's, the next day, or it's like that night you realize, oh, this is Morgana. And you're just like shell shocked.
Pull it back. You meet up with Yoshizawa's dad, and he's just like, thank you for picking out my glasses. come on. And then he says her name, and it's just like the last two letters, and it's static. And she just goes, what? What is she? And he's just like, well, I guess I gotta go. And then that's when you're just like, wait,
Yeah.
something's going on with that.
Because that's the
too.
first time her first name is spoken out loud. And so, yeah, you part. And the next day, one of my favorite moments of this news section, you just wake up and Bishojo Morgana is just sleeping with you.
You just wake up like, what are you doing? He's like, well, we always, what's the problem? this is normal. And then a million fanfics were written.
Yep. So you go downstairs, and then Futaba and her mom are down there, and it's just like have a nice cordial conversation. And then as you're having this conversation, Akechi walks in and just like, yo, we need to talk. And you go somewhere private. And this is, again, like, for me, I like Akechi. He is not pretending to be who he never was anymore. He is just blunt, to the point.
Yeah,
it's like,
this got him points as well, because he's just like, you understand what's going on too, right? You feel it. This ain't right. He just instantly, just no bull, just like, this, you dig it, right?
Yeah. I don't like you. You don't like me. We need to fix this. This ain't real.
What's the point
so you go.
Calling it Spicy Lady if she still does wanna be when they
What's going on?
Dude, legit, and it's a good stand cry. I'll say that. But and Spicy Lady sounds good, doesn't she? I love her. She sounds so good. But yeah,
what's the point?
dude, wannabe is just a word that it's just whatever. It's not like Spice Girls have. Just call her Spice Lady. It doesn't have to be Spicy Lady. It's dumb. I hate it. But she sounds so good. I listened to her little first speech when she's huddled in the corner so many times. It's great. I love Spice Girl. Get in there. Sorry. BG. Part 5 stuff.
So, yeah, it's just like, we need to fix this. So they find out about where the palace is. They're like, oh, we can see this in the real world. That's not good. So they go in. Is it just the two of them at the start? No, it's not just the two of them. They Yoshizawa meets up with them at some point, and then because she realizes something's off too. And because they go in, and that's when the whole thing of Joker's like, you're in this armor, huh?
I wish you could have switched those armors.
Yeah.
Looks a little too edgy.
Yeah. But and yeah, just this is the whole thing of where it's just like Yoshizawa's still not exactly used to Phantom Thief stuff, and he's just like, yo, get your shit together, get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah.
No nonsense.
Again, this Akechi I like. I would like more of this Akechi.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to the, oh, well, here's my Detective Prince persona, and he's making cheesy jokes on the talk shows and crap like that. And then him just going like half crazy, not enough. Full blown crazy of him just going, oh, it's all right, Yoshizawa, it's fine. We'll take care of you. And then as soon as Yoshizawa leaves, it's like, she's slowing us down. We got to cut the dead weight.
So you go through the palace, and as you're learning things, it's, this is Maruyuki's palace. He's here. And this ain't a shadow. It's him. He is inside this palace.
You see the flashback first, and then it's just like, well, if you want more answers, just come on over here. And then they go in that room, and it's just his feet, and then it just pans up, and it's just him and his Sosei eyes and slick back hair. And I'm just like, you piece of garbage.
And then they show the cutscene of Yoshizawa, Kasumi, as we already said, is not Kasumi Yoshizawa. She is Sumeri Yoshizawa. And it is 99% her fault that her sister is dead. And just, the cutscene of the hair falling and just the, like, character transformation to that. And just, she is a wreck. She's like, I don't want to be me. Please let me be Kasumi. And Mariki just basically, he takes her, is just like, this is for her own good. And like, again, like as he's talking, it's just like, this dude ain't evil.
He's not. He's doing this for purely noble reasons. He's just like, I want everybody in the world to be happy and have what they want. It's not a big old, I want to just rule Japan or I just want a whole lot of money. He's doing it for such noble reasons. And he's just like, well, what's the problem? Well, you guys can leave, but just see how the world is and come back. And if you want to do this, we can do this. But at least see the world first. See how all your friends are doing. I really, really like that aspect of it.
The entire time Akechi's just like, nah.
No, let's cap him right here and now.
Yeah.
Go time.
So he's like, I'm going to give you 7 days. Just go and see what's going on. So you have the 7 days.
And as soon as that happened, I went, how many members of the party are there? I'm going to have to go to each and every one of them per day and convince them that something is wrong and break them out of their perfect reality and re-break their heart. And I did not want to do that. I knew as soon as he said that, I went, this is what we're going to have to do.
Mm-hmm. So you go. It starts off that night with Morgana. And it's like Morgana's like, I'm going to sleep on the couch because that seems a little weird. And then you kind of have a conversation with them. It's just like, whenever we'd go to the metaverse, I'd be a, wait, what? And then day by day, you go, like, Ryuji's hanging out with his track buds, and you're just like, yo, your leg.
You're like, what about my leg? It's like, don't you remember what it's like, my leg's been fine. Back when Kaneshiro broke it, and you're like, wait, Kaneshiro broke it? He didn't break it. And then Joker's just like, think about it.
Yeah, I'll be waiting.
You come on back with that answer.
Yeah, I love how like each and like one of the choices for everybody is just a cryptic, I'll be waiting for you, and you walk away. Like Ann's hanging out with Shiho, and you're just like reminding her, it's like, she's not this good right now. She's better, but not this good.
And she's also not here at this school and not an ace volleyball player.
Mm-hmm. She's still on the mend. Like that, Haru has a actual good relationship with her father, where she's helping with the business. They're picking out a new location together. She's not getting forced into a terrible, terrible marriage.
Even the dad is just like, is this your boyfriend? And she's like, Father, no, of course not. And she's getting all flustered. And he's just like, well, you could, he's a pretty nice looking boy. You could date him if you want. It's like he's accepting of her choices and everything. And you just got to rip that away from her.
Mm-hmm. Futaba with her mom and Sojiro.
That was a rough one.
There's shopping for video games. They're accepting it. They're basically a happy family, even though like Sojiro's not married to her mom.
He's got this fly black suit and this fly black hat. He looking so good. I'm like, he even got a new universe outfit. Get in there.
Yep. Makoto's dad's alive and has a good relationship with her sister, a better relationship.
Her sister's not such a workaholic and not hard edge as she is.
Yusuke Madarame is actually a nice person that cares about him, and he's just, devoted to his arts and what have you. the original.
The painting is hanging up in a gallery so everybody can see it and everybody knows that this is the original and this is very loved.
Yep, I think that covers everyone, right? Yuji on. Yeah.
Yep.
And then the other thing too is while you're doing this, Akechi is researching just what changes had happened, and he's just like, yeah, the people that are dead right now, they're alive. They're
including me. Woo!
Yeah, in this reality, they are just full tilt. They never died.
Just going all the way back and just plucking them from that death and plucking them right into life.
Mm-hmm. So once you do that, you go back to the palace, and you can either give the answer of like, yeah, it's pretty cool. I dig it. Which that would be pretty funny. We're just like, yeah, I dig it. And then everybody shows up like, Joker, we're here to help. Wait, what?
We won't let you get away with it. Did he say yes?
Or you could say, no, I don't accept this reality. And then as you're doing this, everybody meets up at LeBlanc and the rest of your party, and they like are discussing things or just like, something feels wrong. And then once they finally get it, you just see like a glass shatter on the screen and everybody is returns to normal basically, and Morgana's a cat. I love like when they show what happened afterwards where it's like, you're a cat? Well, of course, you've always been a cat. What is going on? Just realizing everything.
Yeah.
So when you refuse Maruyuki, you actually have a boss fight with Sumire, because she's just like, I don't want to be me.
Dude, I am a punk, and I'm like, I am not laying a hand on her. Not at all. So I just defend it. I'm like, this fight is going to tell me that I'm right in not touching her. And it's just going to end with her going, oh my goodness, what have I done? And I did that for about 20 turns, legit, just healing and defending and healing and defending. I'm like, okay, this isn't going to work. I clearly got to beat her, but I'm not laying a hand on her. So she was doing mostly physical attacks. So I just equipped it a persona that reflects physical, and she just hit herself and she died. Anyway, I didn't do that. My hands were up here. Y'all saw it.
My hands are clean. So yeah, you fight her, and then after that, more hentai happens, tentacle porn, and basically Maruyuki's ability, you don't exactly know what it is at that point, but you kind of do, traps her and then makes her persona run rampant. And then her persona is just like, I don't want to be me. It's just like, whoa, okay. This is different. And then at this point, you're just getting pushed in, both you and Akechi. And this is the fight where you get their Showtime attack, right?
I think you get it like
you
before that.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah, you get it in the week prior. Which, yeah, again, that Showtime attack, good stuff. So as you're getting your shit pushed in, seemingly Deathblow comes in, and then the rest of the Phantom Thieves show up. They're all back to normal. Maruyuki's just like, you gave that up? Just like couldn't understand why that they would give that up. And you finish off the boss fight. You take Sumeri away, and then Maruyuki's like, I'm not going to fight you. Not yet. I still feel like you guys should think on this. I'll give you till February 3rd. If you decide by then that you can't accept it, then we'll throw fists. We'll throw some hands. But just think on it. So you live a month in this world, and for the next like few days, one of your party members comes up to you and is like, "Hey, can we hang out?" And basically apologizes, just like, I failed you. I all the struggles that we had.
Into this. I accepted the fact that I can move on from my hardship, but then I just got suckered right back into him when the moment presented itself, and I didn't even question it.
Mm-hmm. My favorites was Use Case, where he just goes up and like puts his hands on your shoulders, just like, I failed you, and you're just like, personal space, Use Case.
He is so dramatic, and I love it. It's not even like a false bravado, I'm an actor or anything. No, he's just a weird, eccentric guy.
And the other thing I loved about these cutscenes, you went to their rooms.
Yes,
and
you actually saw their room for the first time in Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight, and you can like explore it, because in that game it's just like you need to find these little clues in their room, so you can actually like look underneath tables and underneath beds and stuff like that, and look at posters on the wall and stuff like that. But no, if this is your first experience, you can look at a room like this. I love crap like that, because again, just like in My Hero, you look at their room and you understand their personality. You understand all that. You just like, I got it. Use Case is like a small little room. It's got a couple of bikini babes on the wall and magazines and sports stuff all around.
Ryuji,
a little messy.
You said
Did I say
Yusuke.
Ryuji? Yeah, Ryuji. Use Case just like this little shack with like these two huge posters on the wall, like this, just like a little sheet and a pillow on the corner. His is just like you look at it.
There's a doorway that
like
just has a giant canvas.
Mini fridge. His is just like, Ryuji, you gotta Yusuke, you gotta live better than this, my dude. You in squalor. But yeah, Ann's got a whole bunch of different outfits and stuff. If you look at Makoto's room, one of her her confidant was all about helping her friend out, and her friend and her started to bond because she had this little this old mascot bear character, and she's got a whole bunch of those bears around her room. No, and you already saw from top of that.
Yeah.
But yeah. And the horror room was just like this very big lady-like room with flowers everywhere. I would definitely recommend.
I just gotta say, once you finally find like that significant other of yours, I just have to imagine before I meet her that this is the nicest person in the world. I just have to imagine that. Because various characters that I know you like are very similar.
A nice girl with long hair. Those are my only two requirements.
Not just a nice girl, the nicest girl.
The nicest.
Like, the literal salt of the earth.
Hey, maybe that's because my last couple of relationships wasn't so nice, Michael. Maybe you think about that.
I'm just saying, as soon as you're just like, hey, I'm going to introduce you to my girlfriend, I'm like, all right, I'm just about to, like, feel any shame I have ever felt in my life for any wrong I have ever said to anyone, because this person is just going to be too polite to me.
The first thing that she does is she curtsies, and you're like, oh, D.A. I'm like, yes! I got her, Mike!
I would actually say your full name, which I don't know if you want me saying on a podcast. I don't know.
I don't give a crap.
I would literally be like, King Edward Brown III.
I'm like, there is no issues here, Mike.
Oh boy! And
this
then
is all on the up and up.
And really, in all honesty, too, like, you would meet the girl that I'm like, yep, this is the girl of my dreams. She is going to be the biggest fucking nerd in the world. just decked out and just all sorts of Zelda stuff. Is like, oh, Michael. Oh no, it doesn't have to be Zelda. She just has to be a big old fucking nerd.
Anything.
So
We have our taste, Mike.
Yep. Yes, we do.
I shall not be shamed for it.
I'm not shaming you. I'm just saying that's my expectation. So we go through all those scenes. All of them are great, and that unlocks the third form personas for everybody. And again, like, all of them are good or above.
Yeah, they all get a buff to their passive skill, which is a new thing in this game that we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're all amazing. Ryuji's, for some of the bonus fights, Ryuji's is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just like, oh, you just get, I think it was 80% more damage?
Yeah, something
Just
like that.
Off rip?
Yeah. So
It's
yeah,
dumb.
And that was a whole new thing that they introduced in this game, that all personas just have this passive ability. Some of it is just like ice attacks do 50% more damage, or healing does 50% more, things like that. And it's just, instead of just going, hey, this persona is really good at attack, you also have to go, hey, how's their passive skill? And you can also pass those passive skills off to other personas that you fuse and stuff. I really like that aspect of it.
And then at that point, you go through any other things you want to do. And then there's also Sumere's final confidant. So now you know who she actually is. And that's the big thing, too. You rescue her from the palace, and she's really not happy about it.
Yeah.
And you feel, you don't know how to feel.
Yeah, boy. But yeah, up until that point, it was just locked at level 5. That's all that you could do. And now it's just like, here's her max for now. And then you can go into the other 5 once she becomes Sumire. Which I really liked, hair down and glasses. She looks really good at that.
Yes, I agree. I prefer her that way.
Well, slow your roll.
I like me some nerds. So you go through the rest of her confidant line, which is her basically coming to terms with, oh, this is who I am. And then her realizing, like she was always thinking that she was in the shadow of her sister, when her coach and some other people were like, oh, you were missing some things. She was envious of you. Like, she was a go-getter and a lot more aggressive in her style, but you had this shy grace that she didn't have, and she was envious of that. You just didn't see that because you were in your own envy. And during like one of the training sessions, your coach was just like you do a thing and everyone's like, oh man, that was impressive, like spitting image of her sister. And her coach was like, yeah, spitting image of your sister. It wasn't you.
So good.
And then it just slowly, for her coming to terms of, I need to be me. And final confidant thing, she does a preview of her performance that for you and her coach. And her coach is just like, you're now working for both of you. Like, you took the good aspects of what your sister was doing, but didn't lose any of yourself. And good stuff.
Your character arc is complete. Right?
Also, she is the only potential romantic interest that flat out just comes out and says, yo, I love you.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I just went, yes. Yep.
I will say, because again, I refused. She's the only one that I did both for, just because there's an achievement to accept a romantic relationship, but then I rolled back my save and denied her. And she takes it like a champ too.
Oh, really?
Yes. She's just like, I understand I brought it up so suddenly, but I still love you as a friend. I'm like, oh.
Big ups to her. Big ups to her. Yeah. Haru did not take it well at all.
No, she does not.
No. Because she's just like, he thought that we were boyfriend and girlfriend. Now, why would he think that? And then she's just like, because we're friends. We're such good friends. And she's like, yeah, we are such good friends. Why would he think anything else? Well, I have to do work now. I think you should go.
It's like,
And I was like, oh, a knife to the heart.
So you finish up that, and then as you're doing this, you can infiltrate Maruyuki's palace, and his palace is probably, for me, tit for tat with Nijima's. I love...
It is a very nicely designed palace. It is a lot of fun. It's got that right amount of difficulty for where you're at in the game.
That, for me, it wasn't, because by that point, I was at level 99.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So, nothing could really touch me.
No,
In fact,
I was still, I over leveled really, really early in the game, and then I just went, okay, either I can stop leveling and just sort of like ignore a couple enemies here and there, which is very difficult, especially in something like Mementos, or I could just bump up the difficulty level. And that's what I did. I just bumped up the difficulty level to the end. I would think I was like 2 levels above normal, where I was just like, give me a challenge. Come on, somebody.
Yeah, which also the part of this palace involves you actually going into Mementos, and there is 15 more levels.
Mm-hmm. You got to go all the way to the bottom and then all the way back up on this another different path.
Yeah, where you find out, oh, Maruyuki's literally hacked into Mementos. This is how he's altering reality, is he's literally directly manipulating the cognition of the mass public. So you go through all that.
And it makes sense, because that was his whole confidence. Talking about cognitions and recognition and all this, how people perceive things. It was all right there. But you just think like, okay, this dude is just studying this and he's going to figure it out like everybody does, because at the end of all the confidant lines, they just go, that's a pretty good job for a Phantom Thief. Don't worry, I won't tell anybody. But then, I've always really loved that. Just everybody figures out, yeah, you're a Phantom Thief. Don't cut the bush. You're a Phantom Thief. Don't even try. Come on now. They've been extorting me for years, and all of a sudden you ask for their name and they're fine now. Come on. Don't come on. I'm not stupid. But yeah, I really like that. So I'm just like, okay, he's gonna figure out that we're Phantom Thieves, and then that's gonna play into, because I knew that there was a whole nother semester and a whole nother palace, but I was never thinking like, what is it? I was just like, it's gonna play into, because I knew Akechi was gonna be there. Of course, Yoshizawa was gonna be there, and I'm like, well, Maruki's gotta have something to do with it. Otherwise, he's just a whole nother confidant. And in Persona 4 Golden, the new character comes up, and she's another attendant in the Velvet Room, and then she gets her own little castle at the end. So I'm like, somebody's gonna play into this castle thing, and then we'll talk about whole Maruki's motivation later. But yeah.
Also, one of the things of the altered reality that I love is the I believe it's the history teacher, or not the history teacher, I forget what he teaches, who was just like a douchebag the entirety of you. Like, anytime he would be in your class, he would always attempt to throw chalk at your head. Where he's the nicest guy in the world, where he's like, it's like, oh, yeah, we have this exam coming up. I could give you homework, but no, go out and enjoy life, everyone. And Ryuji just like, this is really weird.
This ain't right. But no, you get a whole bunch of stuff like that. You'll be in class and just like, hey, you remember what's her name from class 3 who was on the track team? And like, yeah, she loved the track. Well, now she's in sewing, so I guess that was her passion all along. And you get little things like that, like, is it okay to take away these people's happiness and all this sorts of things?
And that was like one of the big things too in the palace, is the questionnaire section, where you have to figure out what is the correct answer, where it's just like one of the things, it's like you have a dream, but you would struggle, it's a hard dream to accomplish, and you would struggle and suffer in order to maintain that dream, or you could give that dream up for something easier. And it's just like, Maruyuki hates suffering, so his right answer is to give up on the hard dream, no matter how much you wanted it. It's like,
you see somebody who is getting kidnapped, do you go after them or do you find an authority figure? Stuff like that. It's just like, what would Maruki do? And I really like that little section.
Yeah, it was got you into his mindset, and then you started finding the tapes of what happened, where he was with the love of his life. They were going to go visit her family. Something happened on this trip that her family died. She went into basically a state of mental shock where she kind of would have vegetative episodes, and then once she regained consciousness, she remembered what happened and just didn't want to deal with the pain. And he managed to get a persona that could make people change their cognition and remove the sources of their pain. It just so happened that the source of her pain was him. Anytime that she saw him, it reminded her of the trip where her parents died, and
it's implied that he did nothing. And I think it was a break-in, as a matter of fact.
So, yeah, something along those lines.
And he did nothing to stop it or help anybody.
So, and then he just accepts it. He's just like, she doesn't remember who he is, and he's like in her hospital room, and she's like, yeah, I'm going to be discharged in a few days. Why are you here? It's like, oh, I was going to visit my girlfriend, but she's dead now. Goodbye. And just walks out. And then is just like, I have this power now. I'm going to make sure that nobody else suffers like this again. And just headlong dives into it. People mess with him, like he got grants for research. People pull the grants. Basically, it was Shido who did that.
Again.
Yeah, because he was researching cognitive science. He meets Sumire right after her accident, changes her cognition, and like the immediate switch where it's just like he switches her to Kasumi, she ties her hair up, and is just like all chipper and happy. And Sumire,
he just goes, yeah, this is better, isn't it, Kasumi? And she goes, yes, it is. And I go, that's bad, but it's good, but it's bad.
And so you're going through all those things. Then
one more thing about when you were doing his confidant path. At one point, you go out to dinner, and then one of his friends come up and goes, hey, how are things going with your ex, with your girlfriend? And he's like, and he just sort of like tenses up and just like, yeah, it's not, and that's just like the little scene, just like, and he just goes, yeah, it just didn't work. We broke up, but I got my work, so I'm happy here. And that's all that you really got about that until later. And that's just like, this dude is his own little dude. He's obsessed with work, and that's how I took it. I'm like, he's obsessed with work. That's why he doesn't have time for a relationship or love life or anything. And he's just doing his own thing. And I never was just like, because you can't think about he's changing reality.
Yeah.
Who's thinking that?